Hey y'all, welcome to the Self Love and Rediscovery Podcast. I'm your host, Dara Madris, also known as Dara, and here we talk about everything self love and self discovery. Here we go deep, y'all. So let's get into it. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about friends, friendships, friends. How many of us have them? Okay, because I don't have any friends, y'all. I literally don't have any friends. I do have family, but ever since I've come to myself, I have wanted to expand my friend circle. I can't even say expand. I just want to start the circle, okay? Before I came into being who I am today, I used to be a negative Nancy, y'all. I was always negative, and I stuck to the mantra no new friends, okay? No new friends, especially female friends. Like, it was just something about women that we'll get into that later. But I really had to dive deep and really understand why I didn't have any friends. Like, I want to go to brunch. I want to go to the movies. I want to go to a matinee, not just with my boo, but I want to go with my friends. It's okay to do things by yourself, but every once in a while, it's just good to exchange conversation with like minded people other than my boo and, close family members. And so I really dove deep. I did some shadow working. Y'all, I'm very spiritual. I say that all the time because I'm highly spiritual, okay? Me, God, my spirit guides, we like this, okay? And so I really dove deep into some shadow work and really trying to get to the bottom of why can I not make friends? It ain't like now I don't want to have friends. But like, why is it so hard for me? And to be honest with y'all, it stems back to my childhood. And I'm just about to put y'all all up in my business. But I'm doing this to hopefully help somebody else. Help my younger generation, my older generation. Y'all get it. I done said it 1,001 times already. But yeah, we about to get all up in my business, okay? To figure out, to get to the bottom of why your girl ain't got no friends. The reason why I don't have friends or as many friends as I feel like I should have right now is because of what happened to me during childhood. And y'all, it gets a little deep. Like I said, this podcast is going to get a little deep. So let's get into it, okay? Growing up, I was a different child, okay? I was very different from the average. I don't even want to say average because we all are different in our own ways, but I was the awkward, shy child. Always have been. Being raised by my granddad, I really didn't do a lot. And I didn't see examples of friendships. I didn't see examples of healthy friendships. My granddad really didn't have friends that he hung around. And my mom, and she has a mental illness, and she had friends, but it wasn't the type of friendship dynamic that I was looking for, that I needed growing up. So I didn't have an example. Let me just say that. And so me being awkward and shy, not having any confidence, I just didn't fit in with the cool kids, with the popular kids. But it was this one time I had a sleepover. I begged my granddaddy for a sleepover. And the girls spent the night. It was a handful of them. And me being a kid, I didn't realize my situation at the time because I lived with my grandfather who was older, my mom who had a mental illness. Our house just wasn't normal. We had roaches. We didn't have cable. So I made the best of what I could. Let me just say that. My granddad had a big water bed. It was huge. And so we would jump on the bed, do flips off the bed and all that. I found entertainment. So I introduced that to my friends, not thinking about, the fact that we had roaches. And I feel like the roaches is what scared them all away. And I can't blame them. After that day, all those girls, like, they separated from me. Like, we weren't talking, and it eventually led up into me getting made fun of. Like, my elementary school years was very I don't want to say hectic, because of my imagination, I was able to kind of get away from those feelings. But I really, being made fun of and talked about, it kind of tarnished how I felt, not only about making friends, but about girls, like having women friends. I want to say girlfriends, but it just sounds so different nowadays. But just my elementary school days overall kind of sucked for me. I ain't gonna lie, they kind of sucked for me. And so me not having friends at school really took a toll on me, because I see all these girls having friends and they're in their friend groups, and I grew a resentment for that. I grew a resentment for that. And then just the fact that they would get together and talk about me, like, I really felt some type of way about that. I was kind of able to steer away from it with my imagination, but it definitely left a fingerprint footmark in my mind on girls and having friends, period. And so elementary school left that footprint, left that mark in my mind where, these girls ain't loyal. Nah, they just, I just had that bad stigma about all girls and making friends because of that situation. And it wasn't until about high school that I really started to blossom and bloom. As a teen, I wouldn't say I was more outgoing, but I was a little bit more out of my shell. Middle school, I was getting out of my shell. High school, I started to come out the house even more and get to know my neighborhood and make friends with people in the neighborhoods. But by the time I reached high school, I had already had this stigma about girls. And so, usually, mainly, if I wasn't hanging with my cousin, because she was like the only girl that I hung with my best friend next door. If it wasn't them two that I was hanging with, then we were hanging with the dudes of the neighborhood, and it was nothing like that on my end. Let me say that. It was nothing going on to where we were messing with the guys. I just always felt like guys were just so much cooler. That's just because the stigmas that I had adapted as a child on girls being gossipy and, nasty and all that. So hanging with the boys of the neighborhood, I mean, they were just so much more laid back. So I felt more comfortable. In high school, I had a couple of friendships that didn't last long at all. There were girl groups that I would hang with. Everybody's clicked up in high school. I don't care what you say, everybody's clicked up. And there were a few girl groups that I kind of gravitated towards and hung out with a few times, but because I didn't know how to be a friend, it didn't last long. And now, like, being grown and being spiritually aware and knowing myself, I know now that it was mainly me why I didn't have friends. But back then, I would blame the girl groups, just like in elementary school, because I had that bad experience. I thought that the girls were talking about me and gossiping about me. And I mean, they could have, but I really don't think that they were, because we were in high school and what they got to talk about. They didn't know me like that. I didn't have any examples of how to be a friend. So I just kind of fell out. Not fell out, but fell off from the girl group because I didn't communicate, I didn't contact, I didn't reach out. And now that I am grown into myself, it's easier for me to see that. I could have probably stayed in those girl groups if I had took the time to call somebody and say, "Hey girl, what you doing? How you doing today?" Like, I wasn't that type of person. I would get into my spills because over the years I would be so used to being by myself, and I really much rathered to just be in my own space because I can get lost in my imagination. So I felt like the only time that I could really be myself is when I was at home alone in my own little space. I could just be Dara. I could sing, dance, talk to myself, all of those things. Don't act like y'all don't talk to yourself. I don't care what nobody say. We all talk to ourselves. But I just could be myself all alone. I felt comfortable in that. And so I never reached out to those friends that I had. And even when they would reach out, to be honest with you, I was just so lost in myself, like, because I felt like, I'll just say it, I was scared. I was scared to be myself, and I loved being myself. And since I felt like I could be myself by myself, then that's usually what I would do. I would be by myself. And that really, really hurt me, because not reaching out or reaching back when they reached out to me, that really hurt me because that just followed me all throughout my adulthood. As y'all can tell, I keep saying as y'all can tell, like y'all, like I really feel like y'all done see my video. I don't want to keep plugging in my video, my trauma bond video and my quit my job video, but it really brings us to present day, because I would say from the time I was in elementary school up until I left my job, that relationship, I'll say that relationship is when I started to come into me. So all of those years, I was never myself. I never felt like I could be myself, my true self, in front of others. So I would hide in my little shell. That hurt me. And now today, I'm suffering from it. I ain't gonna say today, because we're gonna talk more into the next steps and how we gonna solve this issue. But I just really, and it's not my fault, because I've really grown and learned not to blame me, because it really wasn't. It was me, but it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was me, but it's because I hadn't grown. Like, mentally, I hadn't grown, and I wasn't taught. It's like all my years growing up, I'm teaching myself. Even now, I'm teaching myself some of the things that I could have done better to make friends, things that I could have said. Now, I'm teaching myself how to do that. So after I got out of high school, I created resentment towards having friends. And I ain't gonna say I started it, but y'all remember that song, No New Friends, No New Friends. Was that by Drake? I can't really remember. And then Meg Thee Stallion, they saying we don't need no new friends. And just those things just confirmed what I felt like I already knew. I don't need no friends. I don't need nobody. I got me. That's all I need is me. And don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, we do have ourselves, but we need friends. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. I feel like my resentment got worse as I graduated and went into my adulthood, because social media started to become very, very popular at that time. I'm telling my age, y'all. I don't care. I'm 35. And when I graduated high school back in 2006, back in my day, social media was just starting to pop. Like, it was popping, but it really started to pop, if that makes sense. And I started seeing girls from high school that I used to see, those girl cliques, how they were still friends and they were going on trips together and vacationing together. And some of those girl groups are people that I used to hang with, and I started feeling some type of way. And I'm just like, why couldn't we stay friends? Like, what happened? Like, and then I started thinking back to elementary school. I started going back to that shadow, thinking that they was talking about me and it was a reason why they didn't want to be my friend. All the while, I was just stuck in a mindset where I didn't know how to be a friend. And it was really my actions that also contributed to why our friendships didn't last. Now, I'm not saying that had I reached out and been a good friend, that our friendships would have maintained the test of time. But I'm more than sure that I probably would have made more friends or had longer friendships than I did had I actually tried and attempted to be a real friend. The whole thing of it is that your girl didn't know how to be a friend. I didn't know how to be a friend. And to be honest with y'all, I wasn't trying to learn to be a friend because of all of the bad situations that I had been in, and being so used to being in that turtle shell. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to budge. but it was still hurting me. Even though I felt like I was good, it really was hurting me at the end of the day. So one of the big things for me was being a homebody. When introvert and extrovert has always been a word, but as I grew older and started learning more about it, I claim to being an introvert. Okay, the reason why I don't got friends and the reason why I don't have this and the reason why I don't do that is because I'm an introvert and I like staying at home and I like being in the house. I like watching movies and chilling with my dog. And I adopted that, and that was my safe haven. That was my quote. I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. I'm a homebody. I'm a Scorpio. Some Scorpios are extroverts, but I'm a Scorpio and I'm a Cancer rising and a Cancer moon. And Cancers, they love being at home, okay? And that's me, okay? I love being in the comfort and safety of my own home. And that's where the problem lies because it takes me back to childhood where I'm used to just being in my shell, being in my turtle shell, hiding from the world because it's safe and it's comfortable. And I don't have to worry about anybody judging me or talking about me. And that's why the shadow work was just so amazing and for me to realize that. So now I know what I need to do. Now I know what I need to do. And I'm going to be vlogging this because this is a new experience for me. Getting out of my shell. I've been doing very good, but I can always do better. And because I am on a search, I'm searching y'all for my tribe. I've been looking and I haven't found them yet. Like I feel like I'm so close. I feel like I'm so close. But I'm looking for my tribe. I'm looking for the people who are like me that I can be myself with. And they can be themselves with me. So I'm looking for my tribe. I'm looking for my people. And I'm going to find them. Okay. I feel like the prince from Cinderella. Okay. I'm looking for the glass slipper. I'm just looking for my tribe. I'm ready to expand and meet friends and do fun things. I'm ready to go out into the world. I'm comfortable with myself. I faced that shadow, and now it's time for me to prove to myself and prove to my shadow, hand in hand, that we can do this. So if you guys haven't already, y'all need to make sure that you guys subscribe to me on YouTube if you're watching from Lit or if you're listening from any of the podcast hosts. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the channel, okay? Because I will be doing vlogs over there. I do plan on putting some vlogs on Lit, but for the most part, they will be on YouTube because I can upload as much as I want over there. Here on Lit TV, we are uploading every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So you guys make sure y'all tune in every Wednesday because y'all might just catch a vlog. But yes, I am going to be getting out there, putting myself out there, meeting new people. I'm just so excited. If you guys feel like we on the same wavelength, we on the same page, you just might be part of my tribe. Hit your girl up on Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna try to get back to y'all as fast as I can. Comment down below on YouTube. Introduce yourself. We all are a community. That's the reason why I made my YouTube, is to find my community, find the people that's like me. So that's the plan. We continuing to achieve greatness. I hope that I can motivate other people, whether it be men or women, to get out there, mingle, mix. Don't be afraid of the world. Like I was afraid of the world. I used to claim that I didn't like people, but really we need that. We are here to spread love, give love, receive love. And in order to do that, we have to interact with each other. I feel like the more love that we give, the more love that we can receive, and just make the world a much happier place, because we really got some unhappy people out here. And if you can just reach out to one person, that can make all the difference, because that one person can reach out to the next person. They can reach out to the next person. We all need somebody. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. you definitely need somebody, okay? I want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in with me today, wherever you're watching or listening. If you haven't already, make sure y'all go subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Dara Madrice. That's DOLLIRA And yeah, y'all, if you don't do anything else, make sure that y'all continue to achieve greatness. And with that being said, y'all, I'm out. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.